I'm not sure if I can help everyone better understand the topic today. But perhaps in my welcome speech I will share a little bit of what we aim to do as a school, as well as the purpose of the session today. Very warm morning and welcome to Professor Dr. Paul Rosin, Professor of Psychology, University of Pennsylvania, Professor Dr. Jean-Pierre Poulain, the Chair of Food Studies, Toulouse University Center, and University of Toulouse, Jean Jaurès Istias Dean, Emeritus Professor Dr. Claude Fischler, renowned researcher at CNRM, Emeritus Professor Dr. Ismail No, colleague at Taylor's School of Hospitality, Tourism and Culinary Arts, Professor Dr. Vincent Simona, Director of CERTOP, University of Toulouse, Jean Jaurès, Professor Dr. Florence Sides, Professor at University of Toulouse, Paul Sabatier, Professor Virginia Wilson, Professor at City University of New York. So many professors. My distinguished, as I was walking, I saw some of my very good industry friends. My distinguished industry friends, very renowned industry people in Malaysia, Anthony Wong, Rick Chi, Julian Blades, and many of you who are here. Thank you for taking time to come today. Distinguished speakers, esteemed guests, respected academicians and students, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, what a long list. Good morning and welcome to Taylor's University. I would like to especially welcome our first-time visitors to our Lakeside campus and to Malaysia. I hope that you had a very good stay for the last couple of days. When traveling to Malaysia, one of the first things that people check out is the various cuisine available. One look around and you will see why Malaysia is known as a food haven of this region, reflecting its multicultural attributes and dimensions of the country. Eating, many have said, is the favorite pastime of Malaysians. Deciding on what to eat remains a common topic of interest, particularly with a good mix of cuisine which is available to all of us. We spend a lot of time deciding where to go for lunch, dinner and whatnot. Before I touch on the purpose of the event today, allow me to share some of the key strategic direction the school has taken to move itself one level up in its ambition to play a critical role in global higher education and research in this part of the world. Taylor's Toulouse University Center, or easily known as TTUC, was set up back in 2008 when both the leadership of the universities envisioned the need to play a more assertive role in the field of hospitality, tourism and food studies. Since then, we have set up an annual strategic board meeting, which is known as the TTUC Annual Board Meeting, chaired on a rotation basis between the two presidents of both Taylor's University and University of Toulouse, Jean Jaurès. One of its landmark decisions in 2012 was the establishment of the Chair of Food Studies at Taylor's University. At this very school, where the first chair professor was appointed, who is none other than my very good friend, colleague, as well as a partner, Professor Jean-Pierre Poulain. Since then, the research and internationalization agenda of TTUC has valorized to an impeccable level that I am pleased to share with you some of its key activities and perhaps successes. The launch of its time Master of Food Studies Dual Award by Taylor's University and University of Toulouse, with its key feature of integrating global field research and global immersion program. Global field research and global immersion program in Master's Food Studies that we launched recently has a very unique integration where students get an opportunity to actually not only study about food studies in Malaysia or contextualizing Asia, but they also get a very good opportunity to actually travel around, especially in Europe. They recently came back from a trip in France as well as in Switzerland to discover latest food trends and also to meet some food service organizations that open their horizon and mind about the world of food studies in this part of the world. The Global Immersion Program allows students to actually do their research in a host university where a professor is willing to actually supervise the student on the dissertation topic that they have chosen. So they could eventually spend a couple of months in Japan, probably in Taiwan, in Europe, I'm not so sure, but it is really the will of the student to choose a topic where they can actually discover the field of food studies in their own area that they have chosen to do the research. So that sets apart this master's from many other master degrees. At a national level, there was a research conducted headed by the Chair of Food Studies on Malaysian Food Barometer, which was co-funded by many local and international governmental and private agencies. Such funding testified the need and importance of the study at this large scale, and as well as the endorsement from the Ministry of Health under the Public Health Division. Setting up of an Asian branch of Food Barometer towards an international network for studying food habits transformation, where institutions from Hong Kong, Japan, Taiwan, China and Singapore has in principle agreed to participate to set up another wing or network of food barometer in this part of the world, in this region especially. The other activity or accomplishment was the agreement between the two universities to facilitate research outreach in Asia through funding, jointly funding or joint fund of postdoctoral fellows and PhD fellowship with an attractive package which is open to applicants worldwide. This will allow more students to actually have access to the area of food studies which is slowly coming up. On its international expansion, Toulouse University Center is presently looking at setting its foot in some parts of Asia to offer its dual award degree with the idea of multi-campus presence to further expand its outreach globally through its bachelor's and master degree program. Currently, we are at the tail end of securing an international academic partnership program in North India, investing on a new campus in Hanoi, Vietnam, with the aim of commencing in August-September 2016. We are also in an initial discussion for a similar project in Xi'an, China, and possibly another one in Guizhou, China. To top all this up, we are also pleased to announce that for the first time, our flagship Toulouse University Center biannual Asia-Euro Conference will be hosted in the state of Madhya Pradesh, India, in a royal heritage city called Gwalior, which is very close to Agra, where Taj Mahal is, next year in 2016. It will be hosted in India, where our flagship Asia-Euro Conference will be present next year. Ladies and gentlemen, coming back to the event today, so I finished all my small little announcement on some of the projects that's happening. This is towards the end of the year, so it would be good sometimes to just remind people of some of the key initiatives that's been done by the school and Toulouse University Center. Coming back to the event today, the event in many ways is the brick that builds the house. Having blessed by such renowned speakers from the US, France, Malaysia, who are all in one roof today, I think all the students, you must be very lucky to have renowned speakers coming to your doorstep to actually share with you some of their key thoughts and findings. This event today is the right path towards the agenda for research and internationalization of the school. As we evolve in tandem with the technological advancement, technology is no longer a novelty in food service industry as well. According to the recently released National Restaurant Association report, Restaurant Industry 2020, a snapshot of the future, industry competition will need to intensify in the years ahead, and operators will have to focus on offering elevated levels of food and service in tandem with technological enhancements. It is now the best time for restaurants to not just place to not just be a place to experiment with new food, products, preparation method and service systems, but also a facility allowing close observation of consumer eating and drinking behavior or habits. So the title of today's International Research Symposium is aptly chosen as Experimental Restaurant of the Future towards the conceptualization of new generation of scientific achievements. Also in the local context, as the nation moved towards a developed nation status, through the realization of Vision 2020, the health of Malaysian citizens is an important factor which must not be overlooked. There is a pressing need to explore and discover how our eating habits are motivated, and a new branch of food studies is making good headway in this aspect. Ladies and gentlemen, as a Malaysian institution, higher education, Taylor's University continues to contribute its knowledge and expertise to study the correlation between our lifestyle and its effect on our eating habits, which has a direct link to overall health and wellness. This international seminar and forum session will see distinguished speakers such as Professor Dr. Paul Rosin sharing his insight into the psychology behind our food choices, as well as Professor Jean-Pierre Poulain talking about food studies and the way to actually manage the gap. This forum is one way we look towards empowering ourselves, as well as everyone with the ability to make good choices in food decisions for themselves. Before I end, I must thank the organizing committee who have organized this international symposium today, especially Dr. Kashif, Dr. Cyril Laporte, Dr. Nima, Sheena, NG, and many of you that I didn't mention. But I think it's an excellent show that you have put up, bringing distinguished speakers, putting up a forum, and as well as organizing the event today. Thank you so much.
Okay, finally, this room is more and more an American one. You're welcome, VIP probably. Just to update our friend from US, this room welcomed your president last week. So yes, we can give some word about the title. The title is a little bit ambivalent. And when we have discussed about the title, I said, okay, we will assume the ambivalence. What is ambivalence? The first restaurant of the future. And you have in certain university in Europe, I think about Wageningen, for example, a lab called Restaurant of the Future, in which they try to understand how we can imagine a new concept of restaurant. At the same time, there is other kind of lab where we can do experimental study of the eating pyramid. And in fact, we are not shared. And we are in between these two objectives, these two concepts. And the good title, in fact, is the undertitle, Forward Conceptualization. In fact, to be clear and to be honest with you, at the beginning, the objective was not to have a big audience. The objective was to do only a small seminar with experts, just to review, just to understand what we can do. Because for, I think, 4 years, 5 years, Nithya speak about an experimental restaurant, the restaurant of the future. There is some discussion with the School of Bioscience about degustation, sensorial analysis, and some of you are experts in wine degustation. So we are looking for something like that. And 3 years ago, we decided to organize a trip in Europe, and we go to Wageningen, we go to Lausanne to see the research center of Nestlé and the partnership with the Polytechnic of Lausanne. We go in Institut Paul Bocuse in Toulouse, and we discuss with the different researchers in these labs. And you will see that Claude Fischer have work for the Institute Paul Bocuse in the conceptualization of this lab. I'm sure that Rosine will share with us a lot of experience. So, after this trip with Professor Perry, with Nithya, with the dean of the bioscience, Anthony, our feeling was a little bit ambivalent again. In fact, we saw very interesting equipment, lab, and for example, in Wageningen, good marketing tools. So the Queen comes, they can do a lot of articles in the press about, but when we have a look on the scientific production, it's not a lot. Not a lot. And we are a little bit disappointed by these tools. We hope, and at the end of the day, let's see, okay, we try to understand what are the problems. The first problem, they produce a lot of data. A lot of data. For example, you have camera everywhere, and for 1 hour of life, you get 15 hours of record. How do you analyze that? That means you spend time more than if you do an observation, a classical observation. The second problem was, okay, between the time you conceptualize the lab and today, the technology in ICT have changed. And very, very fast. So you get very quickly an obsolete equipment. How we can maintain this equipment, how we can upgrade it. So the last problem we chose is a lot of these labs are oriented applications. Try to find solution to problems, but not really oriented in a scientific problem. So, and the idea was, okay, how we can gather some experts, open the discussion, review the problem, and try to reconceptualize the question. In fact, to another question was on the table. We have applied in France for a grant for that contract between the states and the region, and the project of an experimental platform to study free was selected. And we are now supported, and we was discussing about that, how we can do in mirror research. That means, okay, how we can do some research in Europe, how we can do some research in Asia, to take into account some cultural particularity, cultural specificity in this project. So, this morning, it's a special time, very special time for me also, because I know very well for Rosine, but only by the text he produced, and he produced a lot for you also. For Rosine is a reference, a bibliographic reference, like Claude Fischer. We used to, and now it's here. We can listen to them, we can listen to Paul. Thank you very much to be here, Paul. And it will be a big experience. And that's why the discussion with Nithya said, okay, we need to open the seminar and to allow the student, to allow the colleague to share a part of this meeting. You are welcome in the second part. But after the speech of Paul, we will move in the postgraduate school in a smaller room, and we will open the discussion in a more classical way or more informal way. At the end of the day, the idea is how we can try to conceptualize 3 categories of speakers. The first one, sociologists, psychologists, people who are involved in the sensorial analysis, the psychology and sociology of case. The second category, people working on the computer science. this question is very, very important. It goes very fast, very fast. Sometimes we can have a good idea, and after 2 years, it appears that it was not good. So we need to have the point of view of experts in this field. And the last one is because we used to work on the relation between the evolution of the scientific paradigm and the scientific equipment. To be honest, at the beginning, that's Professor Simoulet. At the beginning, when he came to see me and said, okay, we have something to share. He's working with a very big scientific equipment in Switzerland. The CERN is a huge equipment. And I said, oh my God, our restaurant for the future, our experimental is very small compared to what you are doing. And invite me to do a talk together. And yes, there is some common problem, and we can learn from them. So these three categories of people will discuss this evening under the presence of somebody who is very important in Malaysia, and not in Malaysia, but in the field of eating and health, Professor Ismail. You know, Professor Ismail has organized last year the World Congress of Obesity in Kuala Lumpur, and this question of the knowledge of the eating habits, of the taste, of the cultural dimension, of the socialization of food habits is important for us at different levels. The first level is the restaurant industry. We can imagine, and you follow perhaps, what happened in China, in Shanghai, with Paul Perry, one of the best 15 restaurants in the world. Paul is a former student of Toulouse. We are very proud of him. And he do experiential gastronomy. We will speak about that a little bit after during the seminar. Yes, that's a space of application. But there is other, more fundamental question. And the question of better understanding not only the relation between one people and food, like we used to do, but the social interaction. During the meal, the social interaction, during the food socialization, that's a very important room of development of the knowledge. Thank you very much to be here, and you are all welcome, if you have time. I know that you did. You are all welcome this afternoon and after the second part of the morning in the 6th floor. Special thanks for industry people. I see some face in the room. I know you are very, very, very busy. Guys, thank you very much to be here and to participate to this evening. Thank you.